This is like golden hour to the max. I really like this lighting, but like I literally am crying right now because I can't see anything. So I'm here sitting in my corridor yet again. I was gonna film in my room, but the lighting is really bad. And last video I filmed was in my mom's room, so I don't want to film in the same setting because, you know, it'll be kind of boring for you guys. It's been a while since I filmed a study video or study tips video, to be more specific. Today's video is all the ways I study, or all the ways that I have tried studying and that have actually kind of worked for me. And I'll just kind of go through all of these study techniques, and hopefully maybe you can do a bit more research into these study techniques and then maybe try them out yourself. I'm sure most of you have heard of these study techniques, so it's just a matter of me recommending my study techniques and then you know, maybe being like, huh, I might try it out. So, you know, take this video however you want. I haven't listed any of the ones that I don't find effective, obviously, so that's why there's quite a small amount. The first way is the way that I use most often, and you guys probably know this through my Instagram and just me always talking about it. I really like taking notes as a form of revision, condensing information, having my own notes, because I find it quite hard to look at textbooks and kind of like, you know, study it. What I usually do is in class, if the teacher does give us notes like on the board or something like that, I have a rough copy and I take down the notes in that rough copy. I did this for maths at the start of the year, and what I do then is I go back home and I rewrite those notes more pretty, if that makes sense. I personally really like it. I find it kind of aesthetically pleasing. I find it more motivates me to work on the notes and to, like, you know, try to and look over the material I learned in class and stuff. You can do this a more practical way. I know some friends who like to do it with just like blue, black, and red pen, and like just one highlighter. I love like all the colored pens and highlighters. I have like a million highlighters if you've seen my what's in my pencil case video. It's just up to you if you like the more minimal kind of black and red pen, or like you like the more colorful way that I do. I don't do notes in every single class. I'm trying to think, what class do I not do many notes in? I don't do that many notes in English because our teacher already gives us a load of notes, and that's already kind of condensed from the textbook, so I don't see a point of just writing out the same thing. It's just kind of a waste of time. But for subjects like home ec and history, I like literally take so many notes for them. The textbook is quite big, and there's a lot of information, and I prefer just to condense it into like a few bullet points or whatever. You're probably seeing on the screen like examples of some of my notes. I will probably film a video on note-taking, like a more in-depth note-taking video. I will do that. I just need to plan it. It's not the most effective active study kind of technique, more so for condensing information and making it easier to like look at your notes and look at your schoolwork. It can be a little bit time consuming, and especially do notes like more aesthetically pleasing. When I do take notes, I find I retain the information a little bit easier than I would if I was just highlighting the textbook. Note taking for me is essential. It may not be for you. If you find note taking does help you, I recommend you start taking notes now and not like in March, April, like towards exam season, because, you know, the pressure will be on. I feel like the whole September was just me taking notes. So my second study technique, which is also probably the most effective for me, is using flashcards and Quizlet. Of course, the holy Quizlet. I owe so much to Quizlet. I do find that this year I didn't use that many paper flashcards. I actually don't think I have done any flashcards yet this year, but I have done flashcards in the past for junior cert, and I have found it quite effective. For flashcards, what I like to do is I like to write a question, and then on the other side obviously write the answer. Give someone the flashcard and be like, ask me this question. Flashcards are definitely quite handy with that. Of course, you could do definitions. I think that is the key thing to use flashcards for. I like to do definitions, however, on Quizlet, but you can also use the paper flashcards for that as well, but like it just could be a little bit more time consuming, and it is a little bit of a waste of paper. I have made a load of Quizlet sets though, like for languages. I do a lot of Quizlet sets for biology. For example, I just write down like, what does osmosis mean, and I write what it means on the Quizlet set, and it's just really handy to revise that way. I like to revise the material first, learn the stuff, and then have Quizlet as a way to kind of test myself. Like, I don't go straight to Quizlet because I feel like I won't be retaining the information. I'll just be kind of like skip. Oh yeah, I know that one, skip. I mean, you could also do flashcards instead of notes, but it would be a lot of flashcards in my opinion. I did that for history. Junior cert didn't really work, to be honest. I tried to condense all the information from a chapter into flashcards, and I just had like a million flashcards and they went all over the place, and it wasn't great. I wouldn't recommend you do that. I like to use flashcards for definitions, for words, for question and answers. It's just really handy, you know, to have like a question kind of thing and not be like looking through like your folder and looking for certain questions and try to answer them. Okay, I'm gonna stop ranting about flashcards. I mean, too long on this. A lot of people say that rewriting things like really sticks into your head, and I do think that is true, but you have to do it like consistently. Like you can't just be like, oh, I'm gonna write it out 5 times, I know it, that's it. This is quite similar to Jade's from Unjaded Jade study technique called blurting. You write all that you know about a topic on a piece of paper before looking at your notes, so you don't look at your notes first. And then once you've written out as much as you know from that chapter, you compare it to your notes and to your textbook and then see what you know and what you don't know. And then you can apply the rewriting technique to learn the information that you don't know. I do this sometimes. I do the blurting. I like write down everything I possibly know from that chapter. I look back on a textbook, I see the topic that I don't really understand. You just write that out consistently until it really sticks into your head, and then leave it for, I'd say, like an hour, and then come back to it and then see if you remember it. And if you don't, well, then you obviously were just writing it for like no reason. You have to actively be interested in the material, if that makes sense. Like you can't just be like writing it out and being like not thinking about it at all. Blurt on paper what you know, see what you don't know, rewrite and actively learn the ones that you don't know. If you do a study session on a chapter the previous day, what I like to do is the next day I like to kind of revise it and then blurt again and then see if I still remember what I learned. Blurting, rewriting, they're kind of interlinked for me. You know, however you like to do it. Also included in this is to redo past questions or past exam papers. Just really immerse yourself in the material, you know, that's kind of the best way to learn it. It's hard to get into it first. Once you just keep writing, you keep blurting, eventually you'll get really in the groove of it. The fourth way is so effective. That is teaching. So let me explain. You've probably heard of this though. It shows how much you know and what you don't know. This is really effective if you have another person to teach, but if you don't have someone else, you can just do it to your teddy bear, your pillow, I don't even know, just do it to something. I have a whiteboard in my room and I use that to like teach my teddy bear. You can also do it on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to require a whiteboard. I actually seriously remember in 3rd year, this is something I still remember, and it's the waterfall in geography. Oh my god, still, yeah. I remember I taught my teddy bear, yeah, my great student, about a waterfall, and I still remember it to this day. Like I can clearly vision the diagram and everything. I say I could write about it still now a little bit. It's been 2 years, I don't know. You should definitely try it out and then see how you find it. The least effective for me, it has worked for English a few times. For Shakespeare, like to summarize a scene and like the key points and stuff, I'll tell you what it is. Mind maps. So what I did for English, I'm trying to think back, I did Merchant of Venice, and I did one of the scenes, like one of the key scenes where Shylock, I don't remember Merchant of Venice. Crap. But basically it was one of the scenes, and I just wrote out all the key points and all the quotes I want to add in for that like particular point. You can also do this to like summarize a chapter as well, if that's the way you like to do it. If you like to have it all in one page, like really condensed. It's kind of easy to see everything on one page, and that's why I like to do it with like key scenes in English, and also like poetry, branch out like certain themes or something like that and just write a little bit about it. Those are my 5 favorite ways to study, or just my 5 favorite study techniques. Does that sound right? It does, yeah. So my top 2, I'd say, from all of these are note-taking and Quizlet, and also rewriting stuff like over and over. That's the video. If you guys have any more questions on the study techniques I mentioned, I feel like I blabbered way too much, then do ask them and I will answer them as best as I can. You know what? Studying is kind of hard. Not gonna lie, you have to have a lot of focus, a lot of concentration, and a lot of willpower. But once you start, it honestly gets easy, if that makes sense. Like once you get into it and you're in the groove, it will be easy. I think starting is the worst part, because it's just so daunting to think about like the big chapter you have to study for, the big test, whatever. I believe in you. I'm just looking out because the sunset is really pretty. I will show you guys. It's so pretty. It's getting so dark in the evenings. Okay, I'm gonna sign off here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys!